Alrighty. Looks like we're up and going. It says right there on the screen, you are live. What's going on, guys? Thanks for swinging by on another Monday night. Hey, just so you guys know, I want to apologize for last Monday night. That was quite the show, to say the least. And I had a pretty rough Tuesday morning. I was okay. I wasn't too hungover, but I was uh, I was okay. I was okay. But I am having a nightcap tonight, just to kind of cut some of the edge off of earlier today, work and everything. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys again for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Naturally, I want to say thank you to everybody who is jumping on to not only the Discord. I've got a link to that down in the description below if you guys are interested in talking with like-minded individuals, posting memes, posting silly stuff. By all means, join in the Discord. I got a link to that. And naturally, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon members. I'm getting ready to do a review of a new rifle that I picked up just not too long ago. I got it out to the range last weekend, and it was purchased through contributions through Patreon. So I really do appreciate that. Not all in one lump sum. I was saving it. I was putting it aside. So don't think that I'm making hundreds of dollars every week or month or whatever. So, but even still, everybody's little bit of contribution that they do have is much appreciated, and I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys. All right. So let's jump into the chat room. Let's say hi to everybody real quick. First and foremost, my buddy, the executive producer of Fit and Fire, Sharker Shooter. What's going on, guys? I really do appreciate it. I'm not even going to pronounce this because me not read so well. I guess it's Restelin Majorie 2010. I guess that's what that is. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but sorry. Mr. FNH, good to see you. The Grim Reaper, always good to see you, bro. Good to see you. GGLFGGG, the staple. Hi, everyone. Fifth. Yes. Well, you know what? You may be fifth, but you're first in our hearts. How about that? Scott P79, what's going on? Bean Pilled, what's going on? It's good to see you. Mario. Yes, again, I am drinking. I am drinking tonight, but I'm going to lightweight, right? Ultra. Got to watch the carb intake, right? So, All right. What else? What else we got going on? Jeremy. Hey, it's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I owe you some stuff. I owe you some stuff. Sorry about that. Todd Schmidt, always good to see you. Any homework tonight, Todd? Probably not. Let's see here. I saw something here. First time watching. Hey, thanks so much, Rostelin Majorie, 2010. Thanks for joining in. I really do appreciate it. Marcus Kennedy, thank you for jumping in. Jacob saying, yo, back to you. The Gun Snob, without further ado, Tommy Guns, American Freedom Outdoors. Yeah, there it is. There's my buddy. All right, good to see you there. And then the Mil Spec guy jumping in with the 690. That's a very odd dollar combination. Can't stick around, but wanted to show Mark some love. Thank you, man. I love you too, brother. And thanks for the assist with Alana and helping her out too. Drink up, let's have a ball. Absolutely. Not as bad as last week, Mario. Not as bad as last week. Mike Evans, good to see you. Excuse me. Robert, good to see you as well. All right, let's jump into the chat because we have a lot to go over. Oh, yeah. Thank you for joining in. I got some people from Shooting Stuff Australia pulling in. So Big Mad, good to see you. DC and Virginia locked down for 6 weeks. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So I do want to introduce our guest tonight. He is someone who I am newly acquainted to. I would say probably in the last... I think we've probably been talking for the last, maybe a month or so, trying to work out dates and getting on live chat. I've known about his channel for quite some time, but at the end of the day, it's just now getting him on to the channel for a live chat, and I think it's a perfect time. So without further ado, let's introduce Shooting Stuff Australia. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. So you have an accent.
Yes, I am a Kiwi 20 odd years ago, but I'm an Australian citizen for about 20 years, and I've been here for about 22, 23 years sort of thing.
Okay, so for those people who don't know, Kiwi means?
A New Zealander.
The New Zealander. There you go.
I grew up as a kid in New Zealand and spent, well, I think almost over half my life here in Australia.
Right on.
Well, close to it.
Rosalind jumping in there saying Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Yes, oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
And you're talking about you're on the light stuff and I'm on the heavy stuff.
See, we balance each other out.
Exactly. Well, hey, us Aussies love to drink, and I'm basically in lockdown, and I can't do anything else apart from paint my house.
I hate painting, but if I'm on lockdown, might as well do it because there's nothing much else to do, right? So
yeah, at least I can pretend I'm at work.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your background, kind of where you come from. Obviously, you said you were born in New Zealand. You're now an Aussie citizen. So kind of talk about that and talk about Shooting Stuff Australia real quick.
Well, I grew up in New Zealand, of course, and then in my early 20s or mid-20s, I just decided to come over here. I came over here for a holiday to the Gold Coast. I'm in Brisbane or just out of Brisbane in the countryside. Came over here and saw 7 days of sunshine and thought, stuff it, that's where I'm going to live. Because in Auckland, where I grew up in New Zealand, in Auckland, it rains the whole time. And it just doesn't rain. It just drizzles. So it's just a mist of wetness continuously. And so I had enough of that, moved over here, and I used to shoot in New Zealand with some friends because we were like you over there before their recent gun bans after that massacre last year. We could shoot what we like, apart from pistols, that was very restrictive, but we had AKs and ARs and all that. We used to shoot years ago when I was a kid on my friend's farm, so that was all good. Came here. Didn't really get into shooting when I was over here for a while because I was setting up a new life, basically. Setting up a new life, setting up a career, started a business, and then I got back into it, and you can't stop me. If it doesn't go bang, I'm not interested in it now.
Right on. So let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about Shooting Stuff Australia because, and I'm going to detour a little bit from our guide that we put together, but you ran into an issue not too long ago.
Yes.
Can you talk about that from the YouTube side?
Yeah, well, I got taken down. My channel gone after 5 years. Quick rundown on Shooting Stuff Australia. I started this with a good friend of mine, Marty, 5-6 years ago, making videos. Well, Marty left. He actually became a sales rep for Winchester, and he wasn't allowed to be on the show pushing other people's products and showing off other brands. So went out solo, so I do it all by myself. I do have a good friend of mine, Jason, who helps me out. You'll see on a weekly show we do, a talking one. And so we started doing that, and after he left, it was going really well. It boosted up big time as well. And then all of a sudden, literally in 1 second, gone. I was actually on YouTube watching a car video, and it just came up. And an email said, "You are no longer the owner of Shooting Stuff Australia." Gone. Wow. And I was just dumbfounded. Took me a day, then finally got to talk to someone on a typing chat. And they basically had no interest in helping me. Didn't want to know me. They kept telling me, "You deleted your channel." I said, "No, I did not delete my channel. Please just put it back up. I know you can put it back up." And he goes, "No, too bad. It's all gone." I said, "You're going to have to wait, and then we have a process." And then from then on, they wouldn't talk to me. So I said, stuff it. And I recommend this to all channels, no matter how big you are, set up a second channel and have it sitting there. Not using, maybe put a couple of things on just so it looks like it's being used, but don't advertise it, don't do anything. So, excuse me. So if this goes off, if you get taken down, boom, you can start up straight away like I did without any problems.
Right on. That's actually
That's
great advice there. You know,
yeah.
that's something I should probably look into as well. I have floated underneath the radar a little bit. I ran into an issue last May where I dropped, I lost monetization.
Yep, that happened to me as well a few
Yeah.
years ago.
So I lost monetization myself. Harleywood, and then the Daily Shooter. We all got ours back, but then the Daily Shooter, he ended up losing his again, like right before Christmas. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. So with that being said, everybody in the chat room, if you would please, if you have the ability, even if you have to come away from the chat real quick, please go subscribe to Shooting Stuff Australia. He's doing some really great stuff. You're getting into some long range stuff too. Is that right?
Yep. I got 1,000-meter range on a farm here, so I can plink at 1,000 meters, and I'm building up a long distance rifle, and I'm starting to get into going right out into the outback, and we can shoot out to 3-4 kilometers if we want to in a straight line. So that'll be later on down the track once this lockdown's finished.
Good. So. With that being said, you know, we've been talking already right out of the gate. We've been talking about guns and stuff like that. But I thought after the mass shooting that happened, what, in 96, 97?
Yep. Port Arthur, 96.
Port Arthur, yep. I thought all the guns were gone. I mean, we saw the dozers running over them and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, they still drag that out, and they still drag out the victims every now and then, people who survived on the media, to pull at the heartstrings and bash gun owners. The anti-gun sentiment in Australia is huge. It's drummed into everybody's heads, kids' heads, the police's heads. Guns are bad. It is massive here. And so after this massacre, 3 weeks later, 3 or 4 weeks later, I wasn't in Australia at that time. I was in New Zealand, and we had a massacre in New Zealand as well. A whole town was shot up, and they didn't ban a single gun. It just went on. Life went on normal the next day. And that was just before Port Arthur. So about 3 or 4 weeks later, bang, these massive guns restrictions came in. Semi-autos, pump-action shotguns, pistols, everything out of people's hands. And then you could get a pistol later on. Then they restricted pistols, I think, in 2002 to 10 shots only, and massive restrictions. You can only shoot them at a range. You can only, and you got to do contests, a certain amount of contests every year. I got to do 12 contests because I own 10 handguns, soon to be 11. The new Ruger PC Charger, 9mm.
Yeah, that's nice.
So here in Queensland, we have a little bit more freedom. We don't have appearance laws. I'm probably getting off track here a bit.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of states have appearance laws. So if it looks like an AR-15, if it looks like a machine gun, it is a machine gun. If it's a single shot 22, but it has an adjustable stock on it and a Picatinny rail, that's a machine gun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's how they sort of operate here, but we don't have that here in Queensland, thank God. And so those laws came in, and everything just went downhill. It's a pain in the ass to get you got to get a license. Yeah, and I'm not for licenses. I'm for freedom, and I'm against the license system. Because what does a license do? At the time that you put your application in, the time that a police officer looks at your application, that exact second, you are not a criminal. So he can stamp it. So it just means you're not a criminal at that time. So it really doesn't mean anything. And then when you go buy a gun, you're going to apply for a permit and pay $40 in our state. In another state, Western Australia, I think it's up to $180 per gun you got to pay. And then over there, you got to get a safety certificate for the gun. So that Western Australia's got the worst gun laws. And so it's just endless like this, just one thing after the other. You can't have this, you can't have that. You can have this today, but tomorrow we're going to take it off you. We had an AR-15. I'm not going to, it's gone anyway, so I can say it. It was an AR-15 looking gun here in Queensland, but it was a straight pull. So not semi-auto, but you just pull it back and spring assisted, and it went in. They are big here. That's sort of like the new sort of fad of guns, straight pulls. And that was out. All good. They painted it orange, so it didn't look scary. It didn't have adjustable butt stock on it, but you could put one on. All good, all happy. And then all of a sudden, boom, everyone got a letter who owned one, because we got to register all our guns, must be registered. And as you know, registration leads to confiscation. Anti that. It's no one's business what's in my house. It's my property. I've paid for it. Piss off. It's that simple. So that all of a sudden they got letters, sent it in. We're going to compensate you. These are $3,500 guns. We'll compensate you. Well, I managed to get a review out just like the weekend before the guy had to send it in. So he sent it in. They crushed it. He had an aftermarket barrel, $800 for a 300 blackout. So they said, yeah, we'll pay you for the barrel and everything. So months and months later, got the he got the check for the gun. No barrel, nothing, no extra money. Phoned them up, said, what's going on? Oh, we're not paying you for that. Or can I please have the barrel back? Oh, we've crushed it. Gone. Said, take us to court and good luck. Oh, that's right. They also put a thing on. When they banned this gun, they said, if you take us to court to try and get your gun back, you will not have any compensation. We won't pay you for your gun. So they just work on fear. The justice system in this country works on bankruptcy. The police will just bankrupt you until you can't go to court anymore. So they got all the money. The cops and they got all the money.
Yep.
So people like you and me couldn't afford to go to court all the time. And the Supreme Court is something like $10,000, $15,000 a day. Yeah, or more.
And that's one of the things. And unfortunately, you don't have the opportunity to participate or be a part of. I mean, I suppose you could, but it really wouldn't help you on your side of the ocean. But here in the United States, the Firearms Policy Coalition, they're doing great things. You've got the Second Amendment Foundation, you got Gun Owners of America here in the United States. These are great organizations. I would love to. Do you guys have any organizations like that in Australia?
Okay, well, yeah, and they do nothing.
Okay,
blatant, complete waste of space, complete and utter waste of space.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the names because they get upset and cry. Yeah. And they hate my guts anyway, which I don't really care about.
So that's a great point, ladies and gentlemen of the chat. There may be some areas that we broach that our buddy here from Shooting Stuff Australia will not be at liberty to say because of certain restrictions and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to kind of go into that a little bit later, but I just got to be careful of how I word things because the cops watch everything. Yeah, and they're listening and they're watching. All I have to say, okay, side note, your biggest takeaway from this, guys, in America, don't be like Australia. Never, ever let yourself be like Australia. Yep. Ever. So that's my biggest advice I tell all of my American friends. No, you do never want to be like Australia. Yeah. So I want to take a break real quick. I just need to say a quick shout out to a couple people that jumped into the chat here late. Tactical Pineapple, good to see you. Gizzard Gary, Pyrokinesis, guys, thanks for jumping in. And then I have a very special hello to a really good family friend, Melissa. Thanks for jumping in. It's good to see you. I hope everything's going good down your way. Give me a holler if you need anything, and we'll take care of it. Fresh Fowler. I can't even say that fast. Is jumping in there as well. Melissa did say, damn straight, hashtag no one's business when you were talking about the registration and confiscation. And yeah, so Jared C., good to see you. I don't know if I said hi, but there you go. All right, so talk about how do you purchase a firearm in Australia?
Okay, so first you have to get a license. Now, the process of getting a license, it's a bit different in every state, and so is buying a gun. So I'm talking about Queensland, and basically the gun laws change almost daily, I think. So if I get a little details wrong, it just happens. So you got to get a license first. So to get a license, you got to go to a safety course and not be a criminal. So once you do that, you then put all your paperwork and everything in, and then about 3 to 4 months now, you will get your license. And they really don't give it out unless you are a criminal or got domestic violence. So you got your license finally. You've waited 4 months for that and paid a shit ton of money. I think the whole system now is about $400 to $500 to get a license. And then you have to go. So you see a gun. I want to buy that gun, please. Okay. So you got to go away, fill out a computer form, and get a PTA, a permit to acquire. So I pay in Queensland. I pay my $40. The lucky bastards down at Victoria, they think they pay $11, and so I've paid that, and now that's asking. So I've been told I can own a gun, but now I've got to ask permission to own a gun. So once I've asked our overlords if I can have a gun, they pretty much always say yes. I have a permit to acquire, and it's all the details of the gun and what shop I want to buy it from. So I go into the shop and hand my permit over, hand the rest of the money over, and I've got a gun. The permit can take anywhere from overnight to a month. But your first gun, you've got a month's waiting list, and there's a little bit of a trick. When you put your license in, you put a permit in. So while you're waiting that 3 to 4 months for your license, your 28 days is being used up. So when you get your license in the mail, you can run straight down to the shop and pick up your first gun.
Right on.
And then you can own 30 guns or 29 guns, and same with pistols. So you get your license. The most common one is an AB license. That means A license is shotguns and rimfires, no semi-autos. So it's that. And a B license is your like lever action shotguns, and everything in Queensland. Rimfires and your A licenses can be unlimited magazines, and B license they come together. A and B come together, so it's like one but two. It's sort of funny. And your B license is your shotguns, centre fires, but your shotguns are your lever actions, because they had a big lever action crackdown and scare and hype up, so they moved it from A to B. So they trying to make it harder for you. And so that's all your centre fires and everything up to like 50 cal. In Queensland, we can't have 50 cal, but New South Wales, which have really stricter gun laws than us, they can own 50 cals, but I can't. So that's your main license, your A and B. Your H license is your handguns, which they only really want you to have 2 handguns of the same caliber. And you've got to do contests every year here in Queensland to keep your handgun license. I've got to do 12, or they just take them off me. And each year you got to submit paperwork and prove stuff and basically jump through hoops. And then you have the banned guns. I call them banned, even though you can get them. What they banned was pump action shotguns, semi-automatic shotguns, all semi-auto, or semi-auto centre fires and rimfires. So a Cat C license is basically you've got to own a property, like a farm property, and prove that it's a farm and that you have a pest control problem. So you get your Cat C, and you can go buy 1 pump action shotgun and 1 semi-auto rimfire. This is in Queensland, and sorry if I got the slight facts wrong, guys, because I don't have a C or D license. And then a Cat D, an AR-15, what I always tell people, an AR-15 is going to cost you, if you don't want to set up a pest control company at your expense and prove accounts and get an accountant and all this, AR-15 will cost you about $2 or $3 million to buy.
$2 or $3 million.
Yeah, because you have to go out and buy like 5,000 odd acres, and land in Australia is not cheap. Housing is not cheap. So you've got to go buy this massive property, like a fully working cattle station, and then apply if you can get an AR-15. And that hoops. And you can only use these Cat C and D, you can only use the weapon, these firearms, for what they're intended for, and that is pest control and sighting in. So there's people on the internet getting their Cat C guns and doing mag dumps. And that on the internet, technically they should lose their license, because that's not what it's intended for. Semi-auto shotguns on a Cat C, you can't clay shoot with them. And there's a guy out there doing clay shooting with them. So technically you can't do that sort of stuff. Sighting in and pest control. So Cat D, forget about it unless you want to set up a company, and that lasts for 5 years. And they could turn around after 5 years and say, you're not making enough money. You'll basically just want these guns for a bit of fun. Well, yes. And so they just take it off you. Guns gone. 28 days to dispose of the guns. And because only like 1% of the population can have these guns, good luck selling them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the gist. There's a lot more to it, but I don't want to bore you guys with that sort of technical stuff. But that's basically the gist. Everything's a pain in the ass. But my view is never give up. Get as many firearms as you want to enjoy your sport with and your contests and everything. And don't give in. Don't say this is too hard, because to me that's just giving into the government, playing into the government's hands.
Mm-hmm.
So
and previously, I have a question, and I don't know if it's a good segue or not, but I do have a question from Wow Is It, basically asking, can you vote politicians out of office in Australia that wants and keeps getting gun control?
Okay, here's a good one, and I've got a funny story after this as well. This wasn't the first time I was shut down the YouTube channel. My Facebook page got closed down, and I had I call them fake pro-gun parties. Mm-hmm. I got it from our fake pro-gun party, gloating that we shut your Facebook page down and don't ever speak out against us at all. So I'll speak out against them again. And our fake pro-gun parties will just basically lie to your face to grab your vote to get their cushy job. We have a two-party preferred process. Either the Liberals or the Labor will get in. Labor's communist, Liberals is like the light beer of communism. So basically the same people, and they're the ones who get in. They always get in the top jobs. So they're going to be in Parliament no matter what. And it's just like an absolute sham, the whole voting process. Mm-hmm. So they banned these guns, and as I've always said, it's easy to take them, but it's not hard. It's hard to get them back. And I hate to say it, we won't be getting anything back here in Australia. And politicians have blatantly said that. Even pro-gun politicians behind closed doors, I've heard say that. We will never get anything back. There is no appetite in Australian politics, even with the pro-gun guys, to get your guns back. But it doesn't mean that you should not stop writing your letters to your ministers and everything. You've got to at least give it a go. You can't just sit back and they'd be defeated. At least write your letters and explain and put your case forward. Basically, the whole political system's useless, beyond useless. All lies and promises. and I don't supply anything. Well, let's put it this way. I will not vote for, and I tell everyone who follows me, I will not vote for a political party unless they say, I want semi-autos back, and I'll fight for you to get the semi-autos back, and I want the full NFA scrubbed, and we go back to before 1996, John Howard's gun bans. If they don't, there's only been two parties that have said that, Fraser Anning and Love and Australia or Leave It Party. And unfortunately, those guys will never get in because they're very small, even though they're very vocal about all this. So if you're not going to say, get rid of the NFA, I will never vote for you. And our fake pro-gun party here in Australia has got videos out, and you show these guys this video someone's made, and no, it is not me that made this video out there, and it's got this fake pro-gun party saying they agree with John Howard's gun bans in 1996, and no one needs an AR-15, and they're meant to be standing up for us. So sorry, if you fully don't want the NFA gone, you don't talk to my time. I won't vote for you. Sorry about that rant.
So no, it's good. It's good. Without further ado, I was laughing there because without further ado, he's one of my class clowns. He says, "Is that why Mad Max movies almost always have no guns?" And
good thing, yes. Yeah. But we got it. Someone said here, sorry, my eyes aren't that good about holding utes. Everyone has souped up cars here and muscle cars, and bugger all guns. But we've actually got twice as many guns in civilians' hands than before the gun bans came in 1996. So we've got twice as many now, I think I heard. I could be wrong, but that's what I read up on a while ago.
Yep, I think...
And gun crime's gone through the roof in Australia since the gun bans.
Of course they have.
And we've had several massacres since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we've had families wiped out through knife attacks.
And one of the things that I know here I think it was probably about 3 months ago, I saw one of the statistics come out from the New Zealand gun confiscation where they banned, semi-automatic,
Yeah,
assault rifles, that only something like less than 10% of all of the
yeah.
firearms have been turned in.
Well,
So,
I think 13% was handed in New Zealand.
mhm.
And the big gang members like the Mongrel Mob and Black Power, which is like the real badass gangs over there, they basically got on TV and said, "We're not giving you our guns. That's simple. We're not giving you our guns." And the politicians said, "Okay, just don't use them for bad things."
Yeah, of course,
Because they're scared.
we're
Back
going to
in,
use stern language and harsh curse words at you if you
yeah,
use them.
exactly. Because I'm pretty sure back in the 70s, they came and tried to take semi-autos off some of the gangs, and they just mowed the cops down in the driveway. And the cops have been scared shitless. The cops are scared shitless over there of the gangs.
Oh, of course.
They're ruthless over there, absolutely ruthless. And they've just said, and they still said, even up to a few days ago, I read an article that, no, we're not handing them in. Just go away. You're wasting your time. We're not going to hand them in. We need them we're a gang. We need them for self-protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like over here. All the criminals have all the AR-15s and AKs you can throw a stick at. Jesus, they caught 200 Glocks being posted here in Australia Post to a gang member.
Oh, really?
Posted. And they said, "Oh, we caught this one parcel. God knows how many parcels have been coming through over the years." You can go down to a local pub. Well, I don't know about my local pub, but you can go to a lot of local pubs and go buy an AR-15 if you've got the money and you know the right people to ask.
Yep.
The whole thing's an absolute farce. It's not, you've probably heard all this before, it's not legal shooters doing the crimes.
Exactly.
We're all registered. Why would I go out and spend, because our price of guns here are expensive, really expensive. So why would we go out, get all this licensing, belong to clubs, all this stuff, and then go spend all this money on buying a gun to do a crime? And it's registered so they can trace it back to you.
Exactly. Yep. Jake, he jumps in here and he says he saw a video that looked to be huge stockpiles of guns getting chopped up by grinders and heavy into huge piles. Was that going on in Australia?
Yes, that's a propaganda video that our regime drags out every time. Every now and then they'll drag that one out. And it's Gun Control Australia, which is a bunch of Fruit Loops. That's their favorite video. I'm pretty sure they get off on it. So that's one of their favorite videos. They drag that out all the time. Oh, gun crime, and then they show our guns being crushed. So
we talked yesterday. So if the people in the chat room, we talked for about an hour yesterday just to make sure that our connection was good, and we talked about having you on a couple different times. GGLFGGG in the chat room says you need to have shooting stuff Australia on again sometime. Absolutely. I mean, we can do this kind of a regular thing to show the difference. And you made a really good you made a really good comment last night when we were talking off camera about what state you wish you had the laws of. Which state was that? I hope everybody's sitting down. Is everybody sitting down? If you could have any state's laws as it stands just this moment, if you snapped your finger and boom, which one would it be?
Okay, that's a trick question because
it is a trick question. Okay, yeah, but
because not any state.
Yeah,
but if we were given this state, we'd take it in a heartbeat. We would take California's gun laws in a heartbeat. They are awesome, absolutely awesome compared to the shit that we have over here. California, you rock. Your gun laws are amazing compared to ours.
Yep.
You can have semi-autos. You can have home defense. Oh, against the law, we have no right to life in Australia. I can defend my cattle with a gun, but don't defend your children's lives with a gun. You're fucked. Pardon my French. I can go out. Like I've got to go. I put down a cow the other day. I had to go put down some cattle the other day, but I can't use that gun to defend my life. And if you do, you're in a world of hurt. You may win, but you'll lose everything. Financially, you're finished. And I hear stories and stories again. And I've talked to victims of crime. I've said this on my show before. It's absolutely horrific. And I wish these absolute cocksucker politicians would listen to this, listen to these stories. Go talk to the lady that had a knife held to her throat, and she was anti-gun, and she wished she had a gun, and she didn't know if this guy was going to kill her. He came to kill her. I'll tell the story another time. Well, anyway, the guy went past the little children's bedrooms, laughed, went next door and killed the young teenage girl on the farm next door. Wow. And she said, if I had a gun, I would have killed him on the spot when as soon as he turned his back, but I was not allowed to have a gun. And for the entire life, she's an older lady now, for her entire life, she said, I have to live that every day. Yeah. I could have saved that girl's life.
So I need to jump in here real quick. From Jeremy, thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate it. Great show and great guest. $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Nice. Let's see. And then Shocker Shooter, he jumped in here, says, my homeboys in Wales and Britain have said the same thing, no right to self-defense. And then Blitz jumping in there again as well. How is he not upside down in the stream camera? Crikey, great stream. That's actually a good question. Why are you not upside down? Because you're below the equator. I'm above it. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. We should have inverted it so that you're upside down. That would have been hilarious.
That's a serious question that everyone needs to know. And our toilets flush the other way.
I was going to get ready to say that. But needless to say, let's see. GGLFGG jumping in there says, what other type of firearms are illegal in Australia? So we've kind of talked about ARs, obviously AKs. Is there any? How about like bullpups?
Bullpup? No, you can have bullpups. Like I shoot a friend's Desert Tech bullpup. So we can, as long as it's the actions that are banned. So I wouldn't say banned, impossible to get.
I see. Okay.
So you can have anything bolt action. You can pretty much have, no matter the configuration, unless this is a Queensland, not the other states. That is, I'm only talking about Queensland because that's where I live, the best state.
Right on. And, I say that about Kansas. So, but what about suppressors or silencers?
We're not in Kansas over here.
No, you're not.
Suppressors, forget about it. Yeah, that's how dare you? How dare you want to protect your hearing? Who do you think you are?
Huh?
How dare you want to protect your hearing? Okay, yeah. You got me. I'll give you that one. And so no, there's always a thing going through. We need suppressors. People have done studies. They've done the scientific and they've written up papers. Boom, straight in the bin. We don't give a shit, in the bin. The cops here have said you'll never get suppressors. We don't want you to have them because they watch the movies. Now, here's an interesting fact. The side thing to the suppressors, pump action shotguns were never going to be reclassified. Never after 1996. It was the 11th hour. On the night before the laws came in, someone said to little jackboot John Howard, boom, slip this in, ban shotguns because they use them in the movies all the time. And he did. He put the pump action shotguns in. Another thing is what a lot of people don't know, and I've read up on this, so to my knowledge it's true. The night they passed the bill was the day before they went on holidays, and no one wanted to read this much paperwork. They just signed them. Now, at a shop in Brisbane years ago, I talked to a guy. He said when they had to go hand his guns in, one of the politicians that actually voted for the gun bans was complaining that he had to hand in his little semi-auto Remington 22. And the shop owner said, well, you voted for this.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I didn't realise that these guys are so thick, these politicians, they didn't realise that it was 22s. And he complained about it.
Yeah. Are you familiar with a Pack 40? I have Jake asking, what about Pack 40? Can you have a Pack 40 in Australia? It's technically single fire.
Like a single shot?
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
Well, single shot anything.
So single shot anything should be okay?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's all they want us to have, really. In the end, that's what they're going down to. That'll be the last thing they take off us is the single shots. The big joke here is all the FUDs in a certain shooting organization is the single shot 22.
So I think freaking Jake, he's freaking trying to troll us here because I hope you're not talking about the 7.5 centimeter artillery piece, Jake. I wasn't familiar. I thought maybe that was some type of Australian designation or something to that effect. But it looks like a PAC 40 is. He is correct. It's technically a single shot firearm, but it is a 7.5 centimeter German anti-tank gun.
No, not in a living hell could we have something like that here. Basically, only recently we were allowed to have 338 Lapua and bigger stuff like that. I've got a 338 Rum, which I've shot out to a mile a few times, and it's a beautiful gun. I'm actually rebuilding it. I'll tell you why, because of what's happened to me in the surgery and that. But we could never get 338s and higher. Even though legally we're allowed to have them in Queensland, but the police would knock the permits back. You'd have to have an 8-kilometre backstop. They had to be, there's one gun range in all of Queensland that you could shoot it at, Wattle Grove. And that's 3.5 hours, 4 hours from me. And so that was useless. I couldn't go there just to shoot a gun. And if you have to shoot it on private property, you have to register that property with the cops and they have to okay it. And they want an 8-kilometre backdrop. And basically they want 20 kilometres from boundary to boundary. And so it was always hard. Well, they kept so people put their 338 Lapua permits in, knocked back. So I've got a lot of guys started going to court. I will take you to court. And they kept winning. And then the government said to them, hey, knock this crap on the head. You're just wasting money and you're losing because it's not actually law. The police are writing their own laws. In Australia, it's against the law for the police to write laws or influence laws in Australia. They're there to uphold the laws that the government make. I'm not saying they do that. Total disclaimer. I'm not saying they do that.
Right. Some more great questions jumping in here. First and foremost is what's up with like milsurp? Are you able to grab any type of historical firearms like 303 Enfields or anything like that?
I've got a beautiful 303 Enfield that's actually got history in the Philippines. I fully restored it. Unfortunately, I didn't make a video on it, which I should have, but I was given a 303 from a friend. Beautiful. And here's another story. This 303, okay, this dude had his 303 from his grandfather from the war. And he came home, found his wife in bed with another guy. So what did he do? Grabbed the 303 and chased this naked guy down the driveway and pointed an unloaded 303 at him. Of course, he got his gun taken off him. So this naked guy rang up the cops and said, hey, this guy pulled a gun on me while I was shagging his wife. And so he got the gun taken off him, went to the police station. Within 3 days, his mate was allowed to pick it up and put it into his license. Within 3 days, the magazine went missing, the bolt went missing, and a few little bits off it went missing. And so, unfortunately, it's not all, the numbers don't all match because we had to get other ones and the cops said, oh, we don't know where they are, all within 3 days.
So the cops were swiping that stuff?
I'm not saying that.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
They all went missing.
Yeah,
the magazine, bolt, and I think the back bit. But I was very lucky. When I pulled it apart to clean, I did have it here. It wasn't here. It's not here, but I pulled it out and had the original cleaning kit in the butt. That's very rare and very hard to find.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the grease part had a grease container. It had worked its ate through it a little bit over all these years. But I restored it, and it's a beautiful gun. I'm not very good with iron sights, but it's a lot of fun and it's a bit of history. It's what my grandfathers used in World War II. So I really do like it. I do like the old guns, but I don't know much about them.
Sure. Yeah. And that's always a great way to really learn, you know. One of my first milsurp weapons that I just bought, I would say I bought it in late August. First milsurp weapon I've ever purchased was a SKS. And I didn't know much about it. And I did a video on how to basically I kind of did an overview of what I did to kind of clean it up because it was packed in cosmoline and everything, and learned a lot while I was doing that video. So,
yep. Well, SKSs were huge here before the gun came in. Excuse me, they were massive because they're cheap. The wholesalers were bringing them in up to the week of the gun bans, because the whole thing was a bit of a stitch up. Still bringing them up to a couple of months before the gun bans, and that, even though it went through so fast, there's rumours that the gun industry knew about what's coming in 6 months earlier, and you could pick up SKSs for $150.
oh wow!
Well, there's always the rumour. I'm not saying if it's true or not, but up in the cane fields, up in Cairns and Townsville, there are container loads of SKSs buried.
Really?
Yeah. Another disclaimer: I know nothing about this, and it's only rumours.
Yeah, of course. I want to say
that's what they say over here.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks to Jake for jumping in the $5 super chat. You guys are good sports. Thanks. Good live chat. Good live feed. Thanks. Really do appreciate that. One of the questions that I had in here was kind of what got you into shooting firearms and stuff like that. Was that something that happened at a very early age, or?
Yeah, well, where I grew up in Auckland, my family weren't really into guns or anything. But when I moved out of home at a very young age, because I'm a firm believer in you got to get out of the house, away from the parents, and start experiencing life. So I moved out quite at a young age. I got in New Zealand, you could have air pistols and everything, no licenses. So I had a really good, essentially a Colt Python metal replica of an air pistol. So we could just shoot that in the back lawn in the suburbs, through the fence and into the neighbour's shed. And so that's what really kicked me off back then. And then my friend's family had a farm, and they had a lot of guns, and we'd go out there and play with the guns and go hunting every single Saturday and Friday night. So it was pretty good. And here's the thing about back then in New Zealand, we used to go out shooting on my friend's farm. And it was on top of a hill, and 10 kilometres away was a small country town. I mean, small country town. The cops would rock up because we'd do laps of the farm, walking and shooting possums and stuff. And the cops would turn up and go, "Hey, guys, can you sort of, knock the guns on the head?" No, it's 2 a.m. We had noise complaints, but technically we didn't have to. The cops were that cool. They would just sit down, have a cup of coffee with us, and go, "Oh, do you mind if we have a shoot of your ARs and that?" And they'd be there shooting with us at 3 a.m. They go, "Oh, shit, down. We knock off soon. We're going to get back to the station and go home." And they go, "Oh, yeah, can you just stop shooting now because you're making too much noise?" So that's totally different. Well, back then, that was a total difference compared to here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I shoot on 500, 600 acres, literally 5 minutes from my house. And I've had cops rock up. Okay, and they were pretty cool. They said, "Oh, okay, you're all good. We don't need to, you're doing nothing wrong." But the neighbours complain, because everything's anti-gun here. The neighbours continuously complain, but they've given up on that now because they know that it's not going away. And the landowner's really cool. He's said, "I enjoy you coming in and shooting," because even though the landowner doesn't shoot, he said, "Since you've been shooting, no one's broken into my equipment and into my sheds and stealing stuff and cutting my fences and riding motorbikes around. You've scared everyone off." And so he actually phones me up and asks me, "Look, you haven't been here for a few days. Do you think you can come up here and make some noise?"
That's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's transition a little bit. Well, let me back up. Last thing that we'll talk about when it comes to gun control and Australia is you sent me through Instagram DM. You sent me an image of something that just came out. It's a great transition point. What's going on in Australia as far as the newest COVID-19 gun control type of thing?
Okay, I know it, but I've just got some notes here. So on I think it was Friday, Western Australia, bang, no warning, all gun shops must close because social distancing. Saturday, Queensland, where I live, Saturday late afternoon, like closing time, they got the same thing. That's it. It's all over. Shut up shop. Sack your workers, are unemployed. So those two things in 2 days, 22,000 workers lost their jobs and on the unemployment benefit, basically. This morning, we're talking hours ago, only hours ago, today, because it's what's the time here? It's 10 to 1 in the afternoon. I mean, this morning at 7:45, Victoria gun shops got the same letter, must close immediately. So they've closed all the gun shops, but here's the thing. They're saying social distancing. I've just made a video on it. If anyone wants to go watch it, it's our last video, and it's probably the fastest growing video we've ever had. And it sort of explains what's happened, but it hasn't explained today because it's just happened. So they're saying social distancing, but I can go down to JB Hi-Fi, which is like your Best Buy electronics store, and I went past there on Friday, and it's packed from shoulder to shoulder. We got our big Home Depot here is called Bunnings. I went into Bunnings to get some stuff to paint my house, and it was packed. I walked out. It was that packed. I just walked, not going to be in here. So these shops, hairdressers can be open. So you can go get a haircut, and hairdressers are in your face. Here, you've got to go 1.5 to 2 meters distance from any person. Right now, you can't be in public with more than 2 people. So these other shops can open, but they've targeted gun shops. They can't be open. And I actually just put a video up on my Facebook page, news conference, with a pure disdain from the government in Victoria saying why they close the shops, because they don't want all these new guns out in the public. They don't trust us. Right. And that's basically the gist of it. So you can see that video, and this is the crap we have to put up with on a day-to-day basis here. So they've stopped all that. So now the government have made, probably more than 22,000 people unemployed, probably 30, 40,000 people unemployed are now unemployed, and they have left gun shops, entire arsenals of firearms and ammo sitting there unattended, all over Brisbane, where I live, and Victoria and Western Australia. Not very smart. So Victoria has said that farmers can go buy ammunition, but Western Australia at this stage, from what I'm aware of, Queensland and Western Australia, farmers, you're shit out of luck as well. You can't put down, if you don't have any ammo right now, you can't go put down sick animals.
No, that's...
So basically that's it. So that's where we're at now. You can't go out in public. So everything's a grey area. Oh, this is another thing. Sorry, this is going back to our gun laws. The entire gun laws are open to interpretation by the police.
Of course. Yeah.
So they can decide yes or no. So everything's a grey area. Everything's a clusterfuck in this country when it comes to gun laws. So right now you can't go out with more than 2 people unless it's your immediate family. So I don't have anybody living here. I'm single and no kids. So I can go out with one mate to the farm and shoot, but that's it. And it's like an $11,000 fine. And I did read in New South Wales today, it's $11,000 fine if you're caught outside your house now. But this is the thing. The exceptions are you can go food shopping, medical, or you can go out and exercise. So if you're walking down the street, walking to your mates to go have a beer, that could be classed as exercise.
Would that be a foster? Okay. Would that be a foster beer?
Oh, no.
But that's Australian for beer. That's what we've been doing for decades.
Yeah, no one in Australia drinks Fosters. It's camel piss, absolute camel piss. You got a lot to learn.
Well, that brings up a good point, because Heath, he just asked. Oh my goodness, where did it go? Heath just asked. I think it was Heath. Where'd it go? He just asked. What would it take to be able to come and shoot with you? So I'm assuming, what would it take for you to come shoot with me here in the United States? Would that be difficult for you, or
no? Oh, yeah, money wise, yes. But it's Australia's very expensive. A very expensive country. So flights to US, I was pricing up a trip to come and see some of you guys. Like I've been talking to Tal Flattermouse, and he's really helped my channel out. I can't thank him enough. He did a big when my channel was taken down, he put a big post up and twice and urged people to get over to my channel. And so did Honest Outlaw Reviews, same thing. So I'd organise and talk to these guys to go and, I'll come over and do a road trip. I've never been to the US. See, I've got no interest if it's not guns. I'm not interested in going to Europe or sipping wine in France and crap like that. I want to smell gunpowder. So I've organised all this, and a simple trip for 1 month for me, if I have to pay for accommodation and a rental car to get around, I got a price of 15 grand Australian.
Wow.
So that's like a once in a lifetime trip. So just for me to come over, airfare's about 2.5 grand to get there and back, flying cattle class. So it is very expensive, but yeah, I really hope I can get over. So the funny thing was, I was all set to go 2 years ago, and then I went blind in my right eye overnight. I had a detached retina. So they fixed that, kind of. It's still out of focus. That's why I became a left-hand shooter, as I said before. I was all financially set to go do that, and then I lost everything because I couldn't work for 6 months. I was financially ruined. I didn't really talk about it on my show because I don't really talk about that sort of stuff and my problems. And then I got back on my feet again and all ready to go. And now I can't because of all this COVID stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
For me to come there and shoot gun, not a problem. I can come over and do whatever you do, I can do in there because I'm not in Australia. I'm not in the great Chinese Australian Republic because China own Australia. China own us. And so I can come and do what I want over there. But for you to come here is a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to have to apply months ahead for a visitor's permit to shoot a gun with me.
Yep.
On private property. And they'll probably say no.
Really?
Because that's out of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to go there, a bit harder to come here and be inside the law.
Right. So one of the earlier questions that I had, just kind of talking about Australia in general, we talked about if I ever ended up in Australia, we could get together and go hunting or stuff like that. You talked about going to the outback. For I hate to admit this, but for a lot of us Americans, right, what we think of Australia is either from Crocodile Dundee or Mad Max movies. So, I mean, is the outback just as desolate as sandy and stuff like that as those movies allude it to be?
Well, you don't have guys dressed up in leather G-strings,
right?
Racing around on the back of cars.
no assless chaps there.
No, but sorry, Sydney does. That's called the Gay Mardi Gras.
There we go.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So if you're into that, go to Sydney.
It's 2020, right?
So most Americans know Sydney. That's it. And that's the biggest question I get asked. Oh, do you live in Sydney? No, I don't. I live in Brisbane. I live in I'm 12 hours drive away from Sydney. It is huge here. I think we're the size of America, but we have 24 million people. And you can go for days, absolute days, driving and not see another car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that bad. It's like they always say when you go out to the outback, always carry spares for your car, like belts and stuff like that, and lots of extra fuel. So yes, it is. It's desolate like that, but there's no guys running around with leather and want to cut your head off that I know of. But yes, we're like if we went out hunting 4 or 5 hours away, like there's a station we can go to up past Bundaberg. We can go hunting on, or I know places 12, 13 hours away, and that really is the outback. That is Mad Max stuff. Like you got a real pretty mouth, boy. Sort of. Give me some Bundaberg rum. That's that sort of area.
Yeah.
So yes, yes and no.
Okay.
No leather G-strings, but the terrain, yes.
And of course, naturally, Blitz, one of my Patreon members, he's jumping in there and saying, no leather G-strings, I'm out. And I was like, I knew it.
As I said, go down to Sydney Mardi Gras. You'll fit right in.
So let's talk about we're approaching an hour. We'll extend this just a little bit to talk about what is going on as far as Australia and the COVID-19. Some things are getting locked down in Australia, from what we talked about yesterday off air. What exactly is going on?
Well, the gun shops we just talked about
Sure.
all shut down. It could be 6 weeks to 10 weeks, I've been told. My friend owns a gun shop. Well, I'll give him a shout out, Browns Plains Firearms. He owns a gun shop down the road from me. He helps out my show, my main sponsor, top bloke Gary is. And he said it could be 6 weeks to 10 weeks, but they have the power to keep the shop closed indefinitely whenever they decide. So, as I said, I can go get a haircut. I can go buy hardware supplies. I can go buy TV if I want, but don't you ever think you're going to go to a gun shop and buy ammo. It's basically just scaremongering. And in Queensland, as I said in the previous video, the latest video of mine that they can go watch, is that we've had unprecedented record numbers of permits to buy guns in the last 2 months. Basically, the government is shit scared and they don't want that happening. And they don't want you to go pick up your gun, so closed. Close the shops. It's the easiest thing. And apparently they went to a big gun shop here in Brisbane. This is all what I've heard from people in the industry. I can't verify it. I don't want to start any rumours, but they went to a big gun shop and they had masses of people crammed in there, and that was enough. It was actually the AMA, I think it was, the Australian Medical Association, that are massively anti-gun and trying to ban guns here. All the doctors, they said, "Oh, that's enough to close the gun shops."
Yeah. Yesterday, you talked about possible military deployment to the streets. Is that still going on, or
the armies in the airports right now just to assist the police with anyone coming back? I think it's Australian citizens can come back. They got to go to a hotel for quarantine for 14 days.
Oh wow!
So the military are there at the airports helping the police with that. They got no sort of. They can't arrest anyone or anything. They're just there to help, right? Basically hide muscle.
Sure.
And but who knows? I'm not a conspiracy. I'm the biggest person away from a conspiracy theories. But hey, you never know. They're there.
Yeah.
I got an army base right by my house. And I support the military like no tomorrow. Yeah. I'm a huge supporter of the military, even though I couldn't join because of health reasons. But I'm a huge supporter of the military. You'll never hear a bad thing. And I ban a lot of people from my page if they speak ill of the military. Banned. I don't give a shit who you are. You're just gone in a heartbeat. So, but who knows? They could be deployed down. You just don't know. Really, you don't know.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that you bring that up because I live very, very near a military installation as well, and I am hearing rumblings of military deployments from here. So not necessarily for necessarily martial law type of thing, but still deployments nonetheless. So again, you gotta weigh the conspiracy with what is actually going on type of thing. So.
But then I did read about last week people on a local page in this area where I live saying, they've heard from the military that on Saturday, we just had an election, local body, like council elections here. So the councils were voted in. It's okay for you to cram in and vote these bottom feeder leeches into a cushy job and cram into a small hall and vote them into a big high paying job, but you can't go anywhere else. And I did, and there was on the pages that the military guys are saying, we're getting ready to deploy on the streets. That's what we've been told on Saturday night. And the elections were on Saturday, and everyone was going, oh, yeah, good on you, crap and all this. What do you know? Sunday morning, army, the military are down at the airports. Yeah. I'm not into I hate conspiracy theories, and I get tired of hearing all that stuff. I got better things to do with my life.
Sure.
But you didn't never know until you just never know until you see it, really, do you? And right now in Australia, nothing surprises me. Mate, nothing would ever surprise me in this country. I love Australia. It's a home. I'm a citizen. It's the best country that I've lived in, and I'm 100% a patriot Australian. But there's nothing would surprise me what they do here. Nothing. And I've got to say that if I could financially or have the opportunity, I would live in America in a heartbeat. No two words about it. You get the big anti-gunners that say, "Oh, well, if you like guns so much, go live in America." That's the big throwback they give to you here. I would love to. Can you fund me? I'll be there tomorrow. I'll sell everything. Yes, I want to live there. Please. Yes, I would. But if you don't like guns, how about you piss off to North Korea because they hate guns?
Yeah, exactly. Got a couple questions coming in. Just real quick here. How similar or dissimilar is New Zealand compared to Australia as far as gun laws? Are they starting to become very similar or no?
Very, very similar now, but before last year in March, their massacre, it was, you could, well, I haven't lived there for so long, like 20 odd years. You could have AR-15s, the military looking AR-15s, like the fully kitted out ones that the Land of the Free has. But that was like on a separate license, only used for competitions. Right. Otherwise, you could have an AR, but it can't be adjustable stock, and it had to be capped at 7 rounds. And you could have pump actions and all that sort of stuff. But centerfire semi-autos were capped at 7 rounds. But now it's game over. It's basically Australia 2.0. Yeah. And there was reports all over the internet that Australian taxpayers paid our police to go over there and teach them how to ban guns. We're writing their gun laws.
Right. And then I think I understand what Jacob's asking, but he says, please ask, is it true that there's another country within Australia? So I think that what he's trying to ask, is there 2 very contrasting groups in Australia?
Oh, there is. There's us and them. There's the extreme rich and the bankers and that who control us, and the Chinese that own this country. And then there is, I don't know if he knows about this, but there's a dude in Ipswich, not far from where I live, and he's somehow, I don't know how, but made his plot of land, which is only a couple of acres, a country. Really? And he won't even let police on unless the police show their passport. and it's some weird something like that. And this is like in suburbia. This is his own country. He goes, no, you can't come on. I need to see a passport. I need a stamp. He's got a stamp. He's got his own currency.
Really?
Yeah, and you got a stamp. And the police come on and bully him or whatever they do. And he goes, no, I need your passport. I need to stamp your passport. You're coming onto my country. And it's an old dude. And he won't back down. And so I don't know if he means that, because no one really knows about that. But yeah, there's definitely us and them in this country. Us is normal people like you and me, and probably all your followers, and who just love guns and like doing the Aussie thing, going out, having a beer, having a rum, having a whiskey, smoking a cigar, enjoying themselves. We will never hurt anyone. None of us will ever hurt anyone. We just enjoy life. We love going forward driving. We love going hunting. We love the outdoors. Even though I'm a hunter, I love animals. I'm a big animal lover. And I don't believe in animal cruelty. I despise violence towards another human being, unless it's called for, like self-protection sort of stuff. But if you ever want to do another show on self-protection, that could be basically an entire show over here. We could do about stuff here, but I love all that, and that's just what us are about. And then you have them, the people. Basically, I don't want to point out New South Wales people or Victorian or the big city people, because I've got a lot of friends down there, but the big bankers and corporation people and all that is them who look down on us and basically control us. That's no conspiracy. That's just the general feeling we get. And a lot of people, not bagging the police up, because there's a lot of good police out there, good, decent people who are police, who are just there to trying to earn a living. And but the police confidence in police in Australia is at a record low in all polls, record low. Basically because of the way they treat us and a few bad eggs, pretty much.
Of course.
So, yeah, it's just a big mixed bag of stuff. There's a lot of racial tension here against different races, and there's a big welfare system here. There's a big immigrant, from third world countries that suck the life out of this country. I'm not into that. I think everyone needs to everyone deserves a right to a better life, and everyone deserves to be treated properly as a human being. But there's a lot of abusers of all that over here.
Yeah,
there really is.
Definitely.
So where I live in Brisbane, and it's quite contained. People are just normal people here, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back to Sydney. I don't mean to point Sydney people out, but there's big hot spots and that down there that police won't even go to because of ethnic violence, and that they just won't go to. But yeah, in general, most people are really good, hardworking. Just normal people, really.
Right on.
But there is a big anti-gun thing here, though. That's one thing.
Of course. American Freedom Outdoors, he's wanting to know, do you have access to tannerite? Are you familiar? I don't know.
Okay. Yes, I know exactly what it is. Okay. Now, to all you lovely Americans, if you want to know if something's banned in Australia, ask yourself this. Is it fun? And if the question's yes, it's banned. Simple.
Yep.
So yes, it's banned.
There you go.
And that's on my bucket list. I want to come over and blow some shit up. That's it. I want to shoot. Like John Patton from the Gun Collective messaged me. Said, what will it take to bring your long distance? Because I've just shown you my new build, 300 PRC. I'm planning on shooting out to 1.5, 2 kilometers with it. And he goes, what is it to bring out your target bolt actions? Oh, well, it is a hassle to get in and out. I don't want to take the risk of bringing them out, and then all of a sudden, Border Force, which is our customs, will cry and not let me have it. And I said to him, I am not coming and spending my life savings coming to America to shoot a bolt action. I want to shoot full auto, semi-auto, pump action shotguns, and blow shit up.
Yep.
Nothing like that. I don't care about getting 1-inch groups. I just want to mag dump and go full retard.
Yeah,
that's it.
And we talked about this yesterday. We will need to work on getting you out to the Iraq veteran 8888 shoot.
That'd be awesome.
Whether or not that'll happen this year is still up in the air. We'll find out. We'll probably find out in the summer at some point. But hopefully, if you can make it this year, that'd be awesome. But
I'd love to.
I mean, because you're going to get everything that you want. You're going to be able to shoot at tannerite. You're going to be able to shoot fully auto. Pretty much your heart's desire at that point.
Well, I've said to all my friends, I said to you yesterday, I'm prepared to sleep on someone's front lawn in the rain and the snow and not pay for accommodation if I can buy 500 rounds tomorrow. And I'll live in the gutter when I go there and eat food scraps and roadkill if it means I can go and buy ammunition for the next day.
Yeah.
Because I think me coming over there, like I've got a friend, Texas huntress. She's a lovely lady. She said, I'll come over and do some hog hunting in Texas. That's my dream. That's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah.
Texas, I think that's where I'd live, in Texas. Because Queensland is basically Texas, but we have gun control. So, but because Queensland's basically the size of Texas. And I think it's going to cost me so much money to come there. And basically it's going to be ammo costs. Because you get an AAK in my hands or an AR, memories will come back from when I was a kid, being able to shoot. Yeah. Oh, that's another subject. I don't want to hold anyone up, but if you've got time to talk about it, about young people and shooting. I'm passionate about this.
Yep.
I think over here, you've got to be 12, maybe 11 in some states to be able to apply for a junior license. So here's a kicker for you. So you're a 12-year-old kid. I want to get into shooting. Parents go, okay. So you get a junior license, but the parents don't have a license. but the parents have to buy the gun, and the gun goes in the parents' name, who don't have a license.
Mm-hmm.
So until they're 18. And, okay, 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds, if they have a junior license, can own semi-auto shotguns. I can't at 48 years old because their bodies are growing. So they can own, so a kid can own a shotgun, and at 48 years old, been shooting my entire life, and I think I'm responsible. I'm a business owner. I do the right thing. I pay all my taxes. I'm not a dickhead. I'm not a violent person, and I've never hurt anyone in my entire life. So, but an 11-year-old who just started shooting yesterday can go buy a semi-auto shotgun because their bodies are growing and there's no, there's less recoil.
Mm.
But okay, you can get a medical. Oh, something I forgot. You can get a medical certificate to get a KC license. Rimfire 22s, rimfire shotguns. Oh, sorry, semi-automatic shotguns and a rimfire semi-auto. But you can't take them hunting. They're only for competitions. So you can go take your semi-auto shotgun and shoot them in a clay pigeon contest, but you can only load 2 rounds into it, or a pump action shotgun. But I can't. They've told me I can't take it shooting.
Mm. So what happens to the semi-automatic shotgun once you turn 18?
You got to sell it. And once again, good luck getting any money for it because not many people buy those. Yeah. And but I'm a big advocate. So I'm a big firm believer. If your kid is not shooting a gun at 22, at 5, 6, 7 years old, I don't agree with that. I think they should all be taught gun safety, discipline, respect. I go down to my pistol club, and I met a really nice lady. She was a president of a school. Whatever you call it, I don't know. I haven't been to school for so long. The head of a school, primary school.
Principal, yep.
Yeah, principal. That's it. Yeah, I don't have kids, so I don't know. And the principal of a school, and her kids were there. And we were shooting and talking. And I was shooting, and their kids were so nice and so respectful, and knew not to go near the guns because their mum had taught them. And they were going and picking up my ammo, picking up my shells, and going, "There you go, sir. Thank you for talking to my mum and stuff like that." Really polite. You don't get that out of half of these punks at the skateboard parks and shit and all that. Really polite. And you go do contests and you see junior shooters there. "Oh, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. How are you? Nice to meet you." They hold their hand out. You don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And Gun Control Australia has just done a big thing. Some of the private schools here have a shooting range, and they teach a part of their sports. Now you can go do shooting, or you can go do running or swimming or whatever. And they're trying to shut that down. They don't think kids should be near guns.
Mm.
So that's a big push right now. So
yeah,
it's just it's a big bag of just everything's mixed up here. It just mixed up.
Yeah. Another question jumped into the chat room was, do you have any other Milsurp rifles besides the Enfield?
Enfield. No, but I would like it. I did have an old 22 I restored as well. Sorry, a Sterling that was made here, but I traded that in on a different gun.
Mm.
But no, I don't at this stage. I would like it, but one thing that we touched on yesterday was the price of stuff. It is, so you imagine what you pay for a gun. Add double it or triple it, and that's what we pay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at Tikkas, $1,700. You're buying that same Tikka for about $500-600.
Yeah, depending.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at, but then there's other importers that are really good, like Sauer. I've never been a fanboy, but I've become a Sig Sauer rifle fanboy for hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a couple of reviews up on that. And they're $1,000 here, or just under $1,000 on special. And that's what you pay for them over there, about $900. So they're not price gouging over here. For those rifles, Mauser M18, you can buy here for about $900. I think they're about $700-800 over there. But then you get some of the other rifles, and the price is just astronomical over here. And that's one thing that really puts people off. And I tell all new shoot. So I get so many messages every day, and I do my best to answer everyone. And the biggest thing is, what rifle should I buy? Should I buy this rifle just to tie me over? And I say, no, don't, because you'll never get your money back when you want to sell it. Don't buy a stopgap. Always buy what you want in Australia, if it means you've got to save up for an extra couple of months. Because when it comes to secondhand, you'll never sell that secondhand gun for anything like what you're going to pay for it.
Right on, right on.
Like that PRC carbine pistol, the Ruger, that's $1,500 here.
Wow.
And so it'll be $1,500 to $1,700 for a pistol here.
Wow.
A Glock, an average Glock's between $900 and $1,300.
Yeah, that's.
I paid. Okay, I know you're going to laugh because we talked about this yesterday. One of the greatest guns I own is the SIG 320.
Right.
I paid $1,200 for it. But in my defense, because I know what you're going to say, in my defense, I own a Navy SEALs SIG 226, the full-on tactical thing,
right?
All coated for salt water, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So that's probably my favorite one. That cost me $3,500.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we're going to go start wrapping things up. I want to appreciate everybody in the chat room who have been in there asking questions. We're definitely going to have you back on because there's tons of more stuff that we can talk about. I mean, we can
definitely.
Go
this
for
is
days.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'd go for days. If you're not subscribed to Shooting Stuff Australia, please, please, please swing on by. Just give him a subscribe. It would really, really help him out. And then when he pops up a video, just swing on by and see what's going on. I'm going to give the last word to you, sir. What do you want to say? Anything you want to talk about? I'll give you the last.
I just want to thank all your viewers for listening to me rant. I know I go on a bit, and I could talk for days about all this stuff nonstop. And just thank you for watching. And I would appreciate if you'd go to my channel and sign up and subscribe. I have been finding it hard to get my subscribers back. I had 12,400, and I've just broken 4,000. I'd really appreciate it if you could. I'm also on Instagram. I just try and post the funny stuff. May not be gun related. Us Aussies have a little bit of sick sense of humor and a bit twisted. So you'll see stuff on that. And the more of the news articles will be on my Facebook page.
Right on.
And I'm on Patreon, but I never talk about that. I find it very hard to ask for money.
Sure.
Very hard. And I know a lot of people are suffering at these times. So I don't expect anyone to sign up to my Patreon. I know people, I haven't worked for 3 weeks and I may lose my business. I don't know because I've got no work coming up and I could lose my business. I just don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't expect people to sign up to my Patreon. Would be nice, but you can find me on all the social networking stuff. And I really do appreciate for you guys listening to this Aussie/Kiwi rant.
Yeah,
and if you do have me on, I can fill your head with lots more stories and stuff from down under.
Right.
And I think next time we need to get some Vegemite to you to eat. So, I gave it to Tal Flattermouse, and Officer Greg tried it, and I think he had to go to hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Send it on over. We'll try it on the next time. If we can get this figured out quickly, we'll try to get it on the next time we bring you on. And next time we bring on, maybe we'll talk about some of the wacko stories out of Australia for people trying to defend themselves and stuff like that. Because we talked about that.
Oh, yes. So. Yeah. Oh, they're doozies. They're absolute doozies. Some are funny. Some are very sad.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, again, thank you, everybody in the chat room. You guys rock. Thank you so much for everybody that contributed to the super chats. Please, again, swing on by Shooting Stuff Australia. Give him a subscribe. Go watch some of his videos. Some great content over there. And we will catch you guys later. As always, keep calm and carry. We'll see you guys later. Have a great week. Be safe. Social distancing. Wash your hands. Wash your butt. We'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Catch you later.